Happy December 12th, and welcome to MicroStrategy Today, the only daily show that's bringing you MicroStrategy's insights 7 days a week. Today's show is going to be straight fire. We're talking about the triple Q inclusion, that NASDAQ 100, MSTR copycats. We're going to be talking about being a top 5 stock pick in Reddit, those lovely degens, what they think about MSTR, what an 82-year-old thinks about MicroStrategy and why you might love it, and so much more. But before we continue, please remember this is not financial advice. Do your own research. As always, we're going to start here at mstr-tracker.com. I mean, my friends, you need to bookmark this site. It's amazing information. I was actually yesterday going back and forth with the creator of this, Radu, yesterday. He's continuing to add amazing things on this site. I'm actually going to share with you a couple of those right now. So definitely check out what they have going on here on this page, even beyond what I'm sharing you here. Which is the stock price at 411. Nice little day yesterday. The market cap's up to 98 billion. Our ranking jumped to 100 out of 500. So we're getting pretty close to cracking that top 100 for sure. Bitcoin's price is dipping a little bit this morning. So we'll see what happens there. Our balance is, of course, 423,650. The Bitcoin value per basic share, 177.21. I mean, that number, I just love seeing that go up and up and up. The NAV premium is 2.322x for a profit of 16 billion, almost 17 billion, and 66% profit return percentage, which is amazing stuff. One thing I did want to share with you is the new Saylor charts that just came out. Radu was showing me some of these things, and there's just some really cool information that he put up here. I mean, even going deep down the rabbit hole on accumulation momentum, debt structure, the BTC yield. He goes into that and shares, these beautiful graphs, the market cap rating, the volume percentage, and how MicroStrategy just dominates that. So very cool things here. I really appreciate you creating great tools like this. And my friends, if you are enjoying the type of content that are on pages like this, people like Radu putting out great stuff. Right at the bottom of the page here, he does have a supporting for value. You can donate sats to him. And again, that's Satoshis. There's 100 million Satoshis in just one Bitcoin. So share some love. I know that I have and will continue to do so because these charts are just so helpful on so many reasons. So thank you for this great content, my friends. Going on over to the MSTR Catalyst Tracker. Look at this. One day until the triple Q inclusion announcements. I did get the details for you. That's going to happen at about 5 p.m. Pacific, which is about 8 p.m. Eastern time, give or take. That's what a lot of people are expecting when a lot of people are expecting the announcement to be confirmed or denied. I guess the reason why they do that is because they don't want it to affect during trading hours. And of course, even like the after hours trading. So they're going to be focused on giving that information 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, sometime in that range is what we are expecting to hear. Is MicroStrategy in? Is MicroStrategy out? And more on that is actually here. MicroStrategy has a 90% chance of being added to the NASDAQ 100. Who knows how accurate this is, but a lot of people are thinking it's pretty darn accurate. Again, that's 10% that they might not be included and that might not be added, and that's fine. MicroStrategy will be fine. Nothing stops this train. Of course, we would like this for obvious reasons, a $2.1 billion initial inflow, and then millions of daily passive inflows as MicroStrategy keeps moving up that chart. To get a bigger and bigger percentage of the inflows that come into the QQQ. So interesting things happening there. Wanted to share this news article. MicroStrategy's $42 billion buying spree is spurring copycats. These 10 firms are piling in. So what are the 10 firms that have finally woken up, smelled the beautiful aroma of MicroStrategy, of all things that Michael Saylor is doing, and decided, hey, why would I not be copying the number one stock of the past 4 years, why would I not be taking lessons from the genius that is Michael Saylor, that is the MicroStrategy? So luckily they are. And Marathon Digital is one of them right here. This is a mining company. Metaplanet is a Japanese company that's been just ripping the pages out of Michael Saylor's playbook, and they're going to reap great rewards as a result. They already have been, and they'll continue to do so. Similar Scientific is really ramping things up. I mean, this name is just becoming more and more prominent. There's a lot of exciting things that come for them. Coinbase is finally waking up to the fact that they can do things like this as well. Brian Armstrong, welcome to MicroStrategy's genius. Welcome to Michael Saylor's world. Boya, Tesla, Elon Musk. Listen, he's a smart enough guy. He gets it. He knows. He has a lot more hurdles to go over than somebody like Michael Saylor, who owns such a massive percentage of the overall equity in the company, of the overall company in general, MicroStrategy. But man, Elon Musk, he ain't no fool, my friends. He gets it, and it's going to be powerful. Let's move on to this news article about Bitcoin reclaims $100,000 as MicroStrategy Saylor rejects the idea of taking gains. Like, it's always so funny. People are like, but what if Michael Saylor sells? He's already made the best trade ever. Like, he's up, so many billions of dollars. Like, he's just going to sell, and then he'll just walk into the sunset. Why would Michael Saylor, who has figured out that Bitcoin is perfect money, that is the perfect preservation of capital, that is buying cyber Manhattan, why would he ever exchange that for cash that is trash, for a crashing currency, for fiat? What is he going to do with that smelly little dirty fiat? Nothing, because he's not going to do that. He's going to continue to accumulate more Bitcoin, giving us, the shareholders, more yield and doing wonderful things for MicroStrategy going forward in the future, period. End of story, in my opinion. MicroStrategy joins Reddit's top 5 stocks amid a Bitcoin surge in NASDAQ 100 hopes. Listen, Reddit is that area where Wall Street bets propelled GameStop to the moon and then, of course, back. Really interesting story. If you haven't seen that documentary, pretty interesting. But the reality is this: MicroStrategy actually has an amazing plan and actually has amazing assets on his balance sheet, aka Bitcoin, aka perfect money, aka the perfect preservation of capital in the world. I mean, it is amazing what MicroStrategy is doing. And these lovely degens, and I say that with love because I'm one of them as well, they are figuring it out, and it's become a top 5 stock. And once MicroStrategy catches fire in Reddit, which it already is, obviously, as being a top 5, but once it really catches fire and really gets the Wall Street bets love, watch out above, because good things are going to happen, in my opinion. Let's talk about Twitter and obviously X. So one thing before we dive into some pretty cool tweets, I do want to let you know that I do have an X account, and I repost what I consider the best MicroStrategy news on this. And of course, I post some things myself about MicroStrategy. So if you want to follow me, MicroStrategy Today, you can just search that, or my handle is MicroStrategy. Very simple. MicroStrategy. I would love your follow. It would be amazing. I hope I've earned it. And I will just be providing you only amazing value on MicroStrategy. That is my pledge to you. So what is the tweet that I want to focus on here first? Punter Jeff, of course. MicroStrategy is now the 97th largest U.S. company by market cap. It jumped 7 companies today back in the top 100. It flipped Paint, the UPS, and the UPS is in the crosshairs. Day 201 of qualifying for the S&P 500 market cap threshold. 3rd largest public trading volume today. I mean, that's insane. It's the 3rd largest in volume. I mean, for such a small market cap of a company to be the 3rd largest volume, it just shows you the focus that's being played out with MicroStrategy. And here they are, up 7 places. Lovely. We passed Marvel, and we are having Prologis in our crosshairs. These companies, I mean, I hope they know what's coming. It's going to be MicroStrategy looking at them in the rearview mirror quite shortly. So let's talk about this tweet from BitStrategy. Look at this chart. To me, this just is so beautiful and just really lays out how powerful of a position MicroStrategy is, how much in a pole position MicroStrategy is. BitStrategy says MicroStrategy owns more Bitcoin than the United States and China combined. MicroStrategy is a Bitcoin superpower. Look at this. And this number is not even 100% updated. It's over 426,000, as we know. Let's get the exact number here. The number is 423,650. So that number obviously needs to be updated and squirt out even a little bit more here. I mean, look at these other great companies that are doing some things. I mean, Marathon, even El Salvador. I mean, we're rooting for El Salvador, but I mean, look at the disparity with how much of a lead MicroStrategy has. And by the way, they are not letting go of that lead, period. Let's talk about another Punter Jeff tweet. Shout out to Alan, the savage 82-year-old Bitcoin and MicroStrategy hodler. Bitcoin is for everyone. And this was actually originally posted by Alan Geek, or Geik. And this was, I'm an 82-year-old Bitcoin and MicroStrategy hodl. Will write calls at some time. He's a blank in econ. He says that doesn't mean anything. I would argue with it. It actually, to me, it means that he at least understands money and the cycles of money and inflation. And so to me, that is a little bit of a help, but not much more than that. Cedar citizens are clueless about Bitcoin. Forget about MicroStrategy. I like it. Forget about. Gave up on them 4 years ago. Thanks, Jeff, for your input. So congratulations, Alan. We are really happy to have you on board Team MicroStrategy. It is never too late. And by the way, for my young watchers and viewers, it's never too early. So congratulations. If you're dollar cost averaging your, $10 per week or $20 per week, whatever you're getting doled out by your parents, amazing. You're soon going to be richer than them, I'm going to predict. Let's go ahead and talk to the Bitcoin therapist who says MicroStrategy outperformed every stock in the S&P 500 over the last 4 years with their Bitcoin strategy, and less than 1% of Microsoft shareholders wanted to pursue a Bitcoin treasury. Wall Street is incredibly short-sighted. There are very few people who understand Bitcoin. It's early, my friends. It is early. It is so early. The actual vote came out at like 0.55% of shareholders voted to even assess adding Bitcoin to their balance sheets. They're not going to make it, my friends. They're just not going to make it. Microsoft will be fine. They're going to keep doing great things. They're a Magnificent Seven company. Like, we want them to succeed. It's better for them to succeed because it's better for America. It's better for the world. It's better for MicroStrategy in the long run, believe me. But they're just going to succeed at a fraction of what they would if they actually started doing the right thing with their cash, with their treasury, adding perfect money, the perfect preservation of capital to their balance sheets. I mean, they're going to make it, but they're going to make it at such a fraction of what they could or should, that it's going to be a laughing stock, 1, 5, 10 years from now. I mean, I'll be laughing and looking at my MicroStrategy shares and saying, thank God I got the right micro company. And it doesn't end in soft, my friends. Let's talk about another Bitcoin therapist. Michael Saylor has literally admitted on multiple podcasts that he knows MicroStrategy accidentally stumbled onto one of the greatest business models ever. He worked hard as blank for 40 years, never gave up, and got lucky one time. He knows it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. My friends, MicroStrategy is a once in a lifetime opportunity. And I wanted to share this tweet because, listen, this is the reality. Michael Saylor is unbelievably smart. We know that. He's also an unbelievably hard worker. That's a great combination, by the way, because a lot of really smart people are kind of lazy. Not everybody, of course. I'm just saying a lot, and some. He's worked so hard. And I love to say that the word lucky, like, luck is when effort meets opportunity. And so Michael Saylor put himself in a position by working so hard where his effort finally paid off with an opportunity that he was in the right place at the right time to seize, and he got lucky as a result. And that's fine that he says those words, and that's fine that he admits that, because he put in the effort, he saw the opportunity, he jumped on the opportunity, and we're all going to benefit greatly from that. So thank you, Michael Saylor, for working your butt off for 40 years, for being an incredibly hardworking genius that stumbled upon this opportunity of a lifetime, of a century, of maybe a millennia. And guess what? We get to benefit from your unbelievable hard work for 40 years, from applying your genius and then spotting opportunity, going all in, and benefiting as a result. And these past 4 years are just a small indication of what's going to happen in the future. So bravo. And now, my friends, we're going to get into a couple video clips. These video clips, one's from Tom Lee. I really like this guy, number one, because he shares my a name with me. I mean, my middle name's Lee. His last name's Lee. But he talks really nicely and very concisely about Bitcoin and his projections. Because, of course, as we know, how Bitcoin goes, MicroStrategy goes. That's just a reality, period, end of story. So I really liked that video clip. And then the next one is a really cool, kind of older school video comparing Bitcoin to the tulip bubble in an interesting way, in an actual positive way. And I think it's a really great clip that I wanted to bring to you. So enjoy both of these clips. They're awesome. Take it away.
Tom, it just brings me back to you, the idea that how much of what we're seeing, maybe even a little bit today, is there's been such a regulatory overhang on a lot of these names under the current administration. Now you have a new FTC chairperson. Is that playing a role in any respect to this? Because Dan Ives put out a note today, said Christmas comes early with the new head of the FTC for tech.
It's probably the best way to sort of measure this is what Bitcoin's doing, because Bitcoin faced enormous regulatory burdens over the last few years. And now we have a White House that's embracing digital assets, a new SEC chairman, FTC chairman, a new Commerce secretary. I think these are actually being viewed as pro-business, reviving animal spirits. But I think a good proxy is watching Bitcoin.
All right, now I'm going to have to pin you to a target again on Bitcoin, because, I mean, you've been among the most optimistic and outspoken about it for years, to be quite honest. So here we are, above 100,000. What's a legit target for 2025 for Bitcoin?
We think it's going to follow a similar halving cycle that we've seen in the past. That would imply something around 250,000 for Bitcoin in 2025. And on top of that, we have a Trump put, because Bitcoin is potentially a strategic reserve asset for the U.S. government.
Everyone goes, Bitcoin is a bubble. It's tulips. Okay, tulips was the bubble in tulips in Amsterdam in 1630. That bubble in Amsterdam, where is the center of the global flower industry today? It is in Holland. The Netherlands has been the center of the global flower industry for 400 years. That tulip bubble brought 400 years of prosperity to Amsterdam. So to call it tulips is actually a compliment, not an insult. And then you go, what is a bubble? Well, I'll tell you what a bubble is. A bubble is a bull market in which you don't have a position. It is a psychological way of justifying that you didn't invest in something to call it a bubble. So you can call it a bubble and you can dismiss it. But the potential of Bitcoin to be the default cash system of the internet and the default savings vehicle of the internet is so extraordinary, I would argue that the risk is not owning Bitcoin, the risk is not owning Bitcoin, if that makes sense. Everyone should have an allocation in their portfolio. And don't try and use the fact that I don't understand it as an excuse. Because most people don't understand how the combustion engine works and they still own a car. Most people don't understand hypertext transfer protocol and they still use the internet.
Well, there you have it, my friends. Hopefully we will soon be very much celebrating about MicroStrategies, triple Q, inclusion, and then just waiting for that reconstitution to happen. And again, if it doesn't happen, nothing is stopping this train, nothing. So it's fine. MicroStrategy has been the best performing stock for 4 years without the QQQ. It will continue to do unbelievable things without it. With it, awesome. Without it, awesome. It's going to be awesome no matter what. And of course, as we look into 2025, we're going to have another fun little countdown to a potential S&P 500 inclusion, which of course, that's the major leagues. We'll see what happens there. I hope you enjoyed the content today. Again, I would love that Twitter follow, MM MicroStrategy. I'm on X. I'm reposting and posting great things. I only focus on MicroStrategy and, of course, some Bitcoin things. So that's the only thing that's going to be in your feed. Thank you to all the amazing subscribers. If you haven't subscribed yet, I'd love for you to go ahead and subscribe, because this episode or this show is coming at you 7 days a week with the latest and greatest on MicroStrategy. Nobody else is doing a daily show. Nobody else is working as hard as I am on a daily show, because it's the only one. So I'm here for you. And please remember, this is not financial advice. Consult a financial advisor before making any financial decisions. And always remember, there is no second best.